It is the Victory Moment with CK. Join the show as we chat victory in the midst of the uncertainty in life, because each day can be a victory moment if you don't quit, if you don't give up, and if you don't let go. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Victory Moment with CK. Hello. It's a new day, it's a new month, and I'm getting excited about the new month, and I'm getting excited about the new day. I'm getting excited about the as the year is progressing. Listen, welcome again to the Victory Moment with CK. And today I want to talk about, and my show is always about victory. It's always about victory because, how do we keep going? How do we keep going when so many things, the subtleties and the different things of life kind of catch us off guard, and we're like, we have to keep going. But I want to talk about prepare, preparation, prepare, position, and participate. Can I say it again? Prepare, position, and participate. And that is part of what I want to talk about today, and how so we can continue to succeed in everything that we're doing. So again, we're going to talk about today prepare, position, and participate on the Victory Moment with CK. Well, hello everyone. And again, thank you for connecting and joining. And I'm going to share some other stuff at the end as we continue in victory, as we continue to elevate, as we continue to keep going to that next level. How are you preparing? How are you positioning yourself? And how are you participating? And when as always, when I'm working on my show and I'm thinking about these things, it's always interesting because a lot of times it has to connect with you first before it could even minister to anybody else. It has to connect with you first, even to minister to someone else. And I realized that you know, when you are in the midst of so many things and different things going on in your life, how do you really keep going forward? How do you really prepare yourself? How do you really position yourself? And, let's talk about these three components for a brief moment today. And one of the things, one of the components we want to talk about is prepare. And like, how do we actually prepare? How do we actually prepare as we go forward, as we succeed, as we do the things that we do? How do we One of the things is part of setting goals, part of just putting things together, part of, again, and one of the definition, as when I was doing preparing for this is being willing and able to do something. So that means you have to understand that that you have to be willing and able to do something as you are as you go forward, and whatever it is you're wanting to do, you have to be prepared. You have to be willing to prepare. That means you may have to put things aside and prioritize. That means you may have to just simply say no to some things. I can't do it for this moment, especially if it's a major project. Part of being prepared is you got to put things aside. You got to put things in perspective and put things in order. That's what being prepared is about. Next thing is, let's talk about position. How do I position myself? Because it's one thing in preparing, but there's another thing when you actually are positioning yourself. When you're actually positioning yourself. When you're actually, can I say it again? When you're actually positioning yourself. That means that there is that you're again putting things in place and putting something or someone in place to make sure things flow. So it's not just you trying to do it all by yourself, but it's you working it out by positioning yourself and putting things in place. And I know these are reminders, and I just wanted to remind someone today that you have to prepare yourself. You have to position yourself. When and that's part of seeing things coming to pass because you're positioning yourself. That's part of seeing things coming to pass because you're preparing. You have to prepare for a child. We know that everything can't always work in like boom, boom, boom. But you got to prepare for being married. You have to prepare for a child. But that doesn't mean everything is always just going to be easy and work out and there's not going to be bumps and different things that you're dealing with. But what you got to do, there still should be some type of preparedness. Just like when we are in school and we got to take an exam, even though you may know something, but you still got to prepare yourself for that exam. And it's like, wow. But prepared it just means that you are working and putting things in place so that when you do have to deal with it, like it's one of the things we don't like to talk about, and I know it's a difficult subject when it comes to like wills and when it comes to like wills and when it comes to what we call um you know death, and especially if it's a sudden circumstance. But that's part of, in order to not be overwhelmed. And let me use that as an example before I go to my last component that I want to this is just part of succeeding, and not being overwhelmed and knowing how to actually keep going, is being prepared for the unexpected. There's certain things you can't actually be prepared for, but if you plan out things, if you position yourself, if you prepare yourself, listen, it makes things so much easier in life and less stressful. One of the things I realize, and especially when it comes to that, and I'm just going to talk about that for a minute because I understand it's not easy, talking about, someone passing away, or preparing for death. But one of the things I realize is you have to be prepared somehow or another, because putting things in perspective makes things easier for the people that you leave behind, makes things easy. It's just a lot on, when it comes to death, and what we call, you doing what we will call you doing, preparing for it. And it's a lot, because services, funerals are not, is just different, and it's very expensive. And no matter how much you try to like cut corners, it's still gonna wind up a lot of money. And part of it, and this is, I'm just using that as an example, because I really am talking about, to be successful, you got to see the vision, prepare for the vision, position yourself for the vision. And then I have one more component, but I want to stay with position and prepare for a moment. And then I'm going to leave you for the evening, for the morning, for the afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. And I'm going to share some other stuff that I'm looking forward to, So, yeah. So, so when you're preparing and positioning yourself, that means, again, as I was sharing earlier, that you are, just willing to and able to do something. And that means you've got to do something. It's not just going to pop up or whatever. Success is not just going to pop up if you don't put any effort into it. So success is not gonna, it's not gonna work out if you don't put something to it. Most importantly, positioning means putting something in place. What are you putting in place to win? What are you putting in place to write if you want to complete that book? What are you putting in place if you want to elevate as a speaker and as a person that's good in what you do? Listen, you gotta prepare, you gotta position, and most importantly, you gotta participate. So all that stuff is part, you got to participate. You gotta make up your mind that you're going to participate and not sit back and wait for it to happen. You've got to participate. And that's where the preparation or preparing, that's where the positioning, and it comes down and it comes together as you participate. It means take part. It means to have a part or share in something. So that means you got to share in what's going on. You got to, make sure you have people that you can rely on. I'm dealing with I was dealing with someone that's about to come on my show, and it's so funny. I love how they had this person. They have someone, which is normally we would say an assistant, and they are like making sure and preparing. They are making sure and positioning. They are making sure and participating. Because even if I say something, they're like, well, CK, this what do you need? It's a part, it's a give and take, in other words. So you're not just sitting there saying it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. Believe it or not, even in the dreams and aspiration that you have, quite obviously, you gotta participate in making that come true. And I'm going to talk about God for a minute with that, because we like, well, God said he's going to do this and God said he's going to do that, but there's a participation. And part of me choosing this is because when my bishop shared this sermon, it was so important to understand that you got to participate in your next level. You got to participate in your in becoming. You got to participate in being your best and doing your best. So how are you going to participate? That means taking scheduling, doing things that are necessary to bring things to pass. So what are you doing? How are you bringing things together? How are you working on what you're doing? How are you fulfilling, you know, your job descriptions and things of that sort to make things that you're doing successful? So you got to prepare, you got to participate, you got to position. And that means that and when someone was talking about, like, it's so funny because I was watching, and I have to continue to watch the replay of it, you know um when we were talking about physical, wellness and so forth. We had a big, BSN had a big gathering for 2 days, and I'm believing, yeah. And one of the women were talking about, you know, letting go of, like, making a to-do list, and she wasn't putting it away. What she was sharing is the to-do list sometimes hold back, or basically holds back progress. And when she was sharing that, I understood what she was saying, because if you didn't come, it puts stress, unnecessary stress. So, like, when she was because if you don't finish something today, you feel stressed to do it tomorrow. If you don't finish it tomorrow, you feel stressed to do it the next day. And what she was saying was, take each day and fulfill whatever needs to get done that day, and don't worry about a to-do list, but prioritize. And that's what I would want to say. As you prepare and as you position yourself and as you participate, prioritize. What do you want to accomplish this week? How do you want to accomplish it? And that's the goal setting and things that you have to do to keep going. Winning is a process. Winning, it depends on how you participate. It depends on how you position yourself. It depends on it is guided on how you prepare. Come on now. Next level, I see you. That's how you do that. And when you want to go to that next level, and you want God to do so many things, but you don't prepare. If someone tells you, I'm just going to leave this question. If someone tells you that you're going to receive thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, are you prepared to really handle having that type of money? Do you know what you need to do? And I'm just using it as an example. There are many that want to be married and relationship. Are you prepared to understand that relationship is a compromise? Relationship is a give and take. And you have to prepare for that, because it's not always going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And these are the things we have to set our minds to. But we're going to have difficulty if we don't prepare, if we don't position ourselves, and if we don't prepare, we don't position ourselves. And it's very important. And if we do not participate, we gotta participate. We gotta put things in order. You wanna open up a store. There's a process. But a lot of times we run and do business and we don't take the process so that the business can prosper. Is it an LLC? Is it, what type of LLC? Is it there are things, it's called prepare, position, and participate. And this is exciting me because I know a lot of times we don't get the full blessing of what we're supposed to receive because we don't position ourselves, we don't participate because we're waiting for God to do so much, but yet we don't participate. We don't do what's necessary. We don't prepare ourselves. You understand? We get so many people that win, and I don't let me tell you, I don't highlight what we call they call I'm trying to remember, how they call it when you're playing lotto and stuff like that. That's your business. But I'm saying we have so many people that win a lot of money, and because they don't really know what they should be doing with the money, they don't they realize they basically spend all the money and don't have a plan. And you have to have a plan, so yeah, you have to have a plan. You have to have an idea or a sort of how you want to get it done. So it doesn't mean everything is just going to be perfect, but it means there's a preparation, there's a positioning, and then there is basically what we call the final part is a participation. What do you need to do? What are you looking to do in 2024? And how do you think you can accomplish it if you don't prepare, if you don't position yourself, and if you don't participate? That means taking action. Everything is about taking action, not reacting, but taking action. And these are the things that I just wanted to share today. I thank everyone for just chiming in. And if you listen, feel free to put a message or inbox or share with me if you have a question. I'll definitely answer it. If you want me to, whatever you may add, and if I can't get it, I mean to answer it at that moment, trust me, I will get the answer for you. But I just want us to win. I just want us to stop struggling. We call it the struggle bus because we don't prepare, because we don't put this position, and we're not participating because we're waiting for something else or someone else to do something. No, you want it done, get it done. Those are my final thoughts. This is the victory moment with CK. Listen, you can download the BAC network app and see us on the B and see the great things and on the network. There's so many things happening and going into new levels, and we have an opportunity for entrepreneurs and what we will call those that have businesses that can actually share their business and be a part of my show by sharing their business. They may not come on as a guest, but they can be one of the highlights for my show. and there are multiple ways of doing it. There's more information to come, and by next time that the next episode, we should be having more details about how you can, what we call highlight your show, highlight your what you do, your services, your what you have and what you do. So I look forward to working with entrepreneurs and those that have businesses that just want to share what they do and how they serve other people. So listen, keep keep going, keep pressing, because every day can be a victory moment if you put God first, if you don't quit, if you don't let go, and if you continue to stand up. Again, this has been the victory moment with CK, and I am excited as we keep elevating to the next level. See you on the next episode of the Victory Moment with CK.